And there you go. Hey, everyone, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from BLS, and welcome to Open BxRx. We have another fantastic show for you. Coming up on today's show, we'll speak to the director and producer of a documentary that tells the story of one of the greatest American singers the music industry has ever known. And then we'll hear from a man that has been called the professional Italian American, who is doing big things to support the Italian American community through his podcast and other initiatives. We'll let you know more about that. Then after that, we'll speak to the founder and CEO of the company that has developed and launched an app, a wonderful app that can be changing the financial wage gap for Latina women. And Bobby C, he's here. He steps into the room. Kaboom! Here's the latest in the world of sports. And then finally, we'll hear from one of our studio production interns who will share his story about his wonderful experience working with BronxNet. That and a whole lot more, all headed your way next, because we are now wide open. Hey, I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and you are watching Open. It's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx to New York City straight to your TV set. You can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Our first guest is an author, director, and producer. He joins the program to speak about the Dionne Warwick Don't Make Me Over documentary and much more. So please welcome to the show, Dave Wooley. Dave, welcome.
Hey, it's a pleasure. How are you, Doctor?
So I didn't know you were doing all that work. You started out as a drummer, did you not?
Absolutely. Yeah, I started off as a drummer. I grew up, born and raised in Harlem, Douglas Projects on 130 Columbus Avenue. Went to Rice High School on 124th and Lenox. And, my whole life was right there, in the cultural mecca of the world. So, in terms of the education, in terms of entertainment, producing, directing, I had a front row seat at the Apollo Theater.
Oh, when you talk about the world famous Apollo Theater, everybody has graced graced that stage there. And you had to go up there and you had to touch that little piece of log. That log has a great significance in that Harlem area.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So wait a minute. So how did you get in touch with so many wonderful people? I mean, you've booked the Nancy Wilson, the OJs, Run DMC, Wynton Marsalis. You went from one extreme to the next, all across all genres. Talk about it.
Well, that's one of the things that I initially, as I said, started off as a 16-year-old drummer, becoming a professional guy, doing radio and movie sessions and record sessions. But, eventually I realized that, I wanted to be on the business side. So I went to college. It's very important for those that are listening. Went to college, got my BA, and then got my MBA, and then, moved into the business side of entertainment. And that's when I started becoming a producer and promoter and producing all of these shows. So, having that musical background really helped me in terms of producing big concerts and tours. And yes, I worked with Run DMC, from Run DMC to Loretta Lynn, to everybody in between. I never wanted to just be one genre of music producer or a promoter, et cetera. And then I moved into the sports and entertainment world as well.
Now we're working with all of these wonderful artists. Who has touched you the most, or shocked you the most, or you're like, oh wow, Michael Jackson?
Yeah, well, I've had the pleasure of meeting Michael Jackson. What I realized, having worked with, the what they call the mega superstars, the Michael Jacksons, the Dionne Warwicks, the Patti LaBelle's, the Whitney Houston, is the bigger the star, the more humble they are, So it's the ones that have one record out, that think they are all that.
Look at Mighty Mike.
Exactly. Yeah. No. These are great pictures. Thank you. Yeah, that's my sister, and that's a Little Man. That's a book Dionne and I co-authored together. It's about my life growing up in Harlem as a drummer. We just talked about that. It's a great book. No, it's been a very, very exciting career. I mean, I've been blessed. And, speaking of being blessed, today happens to be Dionne's birthday.
Oh, wow. All right. So happy birthday to you and many more. That's the abbreviated edition of happy birthday.
There we go.
So yes, I love her. I've interviewed her a number of times. I had something called Backstage with Bob Lee, and I think we were in where did we go, to Jersey to interview her, and we sat on the night. We're in a comfortable spot, and she just laid it all out. I mean, she's such a wonderful professional and such a beautiful person. I love her. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, really, our relationship goes back a long way.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is working with her. First time meeting Dionne Warwick. How did you start? Where did it all come from?
Well, prior to Dionne Warwick, I was another legend, Julius Erving, the great Dr. J.
Yeah.
I was Julius's business partner and president of that company, the DJ Group. And he actually called the office one day and asked to meet with Dionne. And Julius came to my office and said, "Listen, Dionne Warwick's on the phone. Do you want to take a meeting with her?" I said, "Absolutely. Are you kidding me? It's one of the greatest singers of all time. Her phrasing, her tone, her pitch. I mean, and it's the meeting." So Julius and I met with her, and, that was back in probably 1990.
Yeah.
And, she and I started doing business projects, throughout the year, and I'm advising her. And then, somehow you go from business partners and business associates, and you become quote unquote family, and I think that's where we are now. We've watched our kids grow up. We have developed, a very unique relationship. I'm also the co-author of her autobiography, her book, My Life as I See It. Working on that book, really also brought us even closer together.
Yeah. And now the documentary, Don't Make Me Over.
We want to make sure that everybody tunes in on New Year's. New Year's Day. What are you doing? You're chilling at home on a Sunday, right? New Year's Day, it's going to premiere at 9 p.m. Dionne Warwick, Don't Make Me Over. It took me 5 years, to produce this film.
Yeah.
But, there's over 100 people that have worked on it. So, special shouts out to Dave Hollenberger, Steve Perry, our editor, all of the hundreds of people that, really, really instrumental in helping telling Dionne's story. I'm really very humble. And if I may, can I tell you a few people that are featured in the film?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, here we go. Somebody for everybody. We got Elton John, Bill Clinton, Alicia Keys, Sissy Houston.
Yeah.
Let me keep going. Gladys Knight, Stevie Wonder, Olivia Newton-John, Burt Bacharach, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Clive Davis, Carlos Santana, Barry Gordy, Olivia Newton-John, Gloria Estefan, Snoop Dogg, C. Jones, Smokey Robinson, to name a few. So, where can you find all of those icons in one film? And that's why it took so long to produce. But, Dionne is a transformational leader. Mm-hmm. And by that, I mean, a real leader, doesn't create followers. A real leader creates other real leaders. Yeah. And that's what she has done in this industry and in this world. She's created other leaders, including myself. And that's what these folks have to say in this film. How she touched them. Snoop Dogg says there would not be a Snoop Dogg without a Dionne Warwick. Woo. Wait to see that interview. That's when I did that interview, it was such a pleasure. He was such a humble dude, and had so much respect and love for Dionne. I'm really excited because we've been playing film festivals for about 1.5 years now. So finally, the world will get to see what private audiences have been watching for a while now in various film festivals, including TIFF.
Yeah, where can we watch it?
Again,
it's going to be on CNN.
CNN, New Year's Day, 9 p.m. Dionne Warwick, Don't Make Me Over. I'm going to say it again. Dionne Warwick, Don't Make Me Over. Documentary, brand new. CNN, New Year's Day at 9 p.m. This is something you don't want to miss. And this is something you want to bring the whole family to because, I mean, look at what she's done for the world. Yeah. And we need to educate our babies.
And you heard it first here. Give me a website. They're going to wrap me up real quick.
Good. Absolutely. You can reach me on Instagram, Dave_Wooley, WOOLEY, Facebook, Dave Wooley. I'm out there on the internet. But listen, we really want everybody to tune in. This is something you don't want to miss. Thank you so much. And shout out to Double Exposure and all the folks that made this happen. Yeah. And congratulations on your show as well.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure, and you're always welcome back. All right. My house is your house.
Oh, I love it.
All right. And give her a big hug for me, too. David Freeman, he's the director and producer. Dionne Warwick, Don't Make Me Over. We'll take a quick break right here. I've got more coming up next on Open. And welcome back. Our next guest is the executive producer and on-air host of the Italian American podcast. Joins us to speak about the podcast and the work that he is doing to uplift the Italian American community. So please welcome to the show, John Viola. John, welcome.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Happy to see you. You're doing so many things. I hear about you. I hear about the work that you're doing. And we thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
And you also became the youngest president of the Italian American podcast.
Well, the National Italian American Foundation.
Yeah.
Prior to this, prior to the podcast, and I was there for 6 years in Washington D.C.
How was that?
It was interesting. It's interesting to work in ethnic affairs, particularly in a sort of post-assimilation ethnic experience, and D.C.'s a tough town sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not necessarily the easiest place. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you came back and you said, hey, you know what? Let me start this Italian American podcast.
Well, I came back and intended to go into a different line of work completely. I had felt, I spent a lot of time in the Italian American community, and some colleagues that I knew who had started this podcast saw it really grow rapidly and then kind of had to professionalize it. And I had the opportunity to jump in and take over the platform and hopefully keep it going for a long time.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so where are we going to go with this?
Well, that's a great question. So we're actually moving our operations now that we're kind of post-pandemic into a new studio at the corner of Mulberry Street and Grand in the heart of Manhattan's Little Italy. And we're hoping to start to see shows that are both Italian American and non-Italian American about different cultural and ethnic experiences in the U.S.
Yeah. And so that led you to become the producer, the executive producer and host of the Italian American podcast.
Yeah, I came in 3 or 4 years ago and had no idea about podcasting, broadcasting, any of this amazing stuff. And
what's this podcast stuff all about?
I was totally flummoxed by it, and then started to understand how dedicated the audiences can be, how intimate the relationship is, how people can, skip a week or so and then come back and listen. They have families listening together. It's amazing, really.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? The old-time broadcast on AM radio.
Yes.
That was a podcast.
Yes, basically it is a podcast. It's a radio AM in your pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of listeners.
We do. We got a very, very big following. We've been able to branch out into videos on YouTube, and we're doing really well, I have to say.
Talk about some of the topics. What can we hear?
Well, we try to do everything from kind of the fun to the serious. So in some weeks it's going to be basically a communal therapist couch to understand why we Italian Americans are what we are. Some weeks it's food, travel, history, culture, music, current events, politics. We try to run the gamut. Anything that touches in Italian American life or history.
So when you're talking about food and things of that nature, do you bring some of the professionals up there or you speak to some of the...
We do, yeah, we try to. We try to bring people, now that we're going back in the studio, we've got a nice little setup where we can also do video, and we'll have some of our professional chefs that we usually interview by phone in, and hopefully we can cook together and feed the
set.
crew. Yeah, right on the set.
Right on the set.
We
people are going to be at home salivating.
We hope so. Yeah, we hope so. We always find that the audience responds. They like when we eat on the podcast if we got homemade wine because it's familiar. You know.
Can you cook?
I can. I like to cook. Yeah.
So they'll probably get you to participate on the set.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. It's hard to resist. Yeah, I'm no professional, but I do my best. Yeah.
You got to know how to. Just mix it up.
Yeah, I think every Italian fancies themselves a cook, even if they're not very good. I think we think it's in our DNA somewhere.
Where do you hope to go here? How do you think you want to reach out to get more viewers or more followers?
Well, we certainly are expanding into video. That's a big part of podcasting now, is having both broadcasts. But also, for me, I'd like to see if we can't find the right young talent to seed similar shows about other experiences in the country, other ethnic groups, because I think that there's so many similarities that we don't necessarily see on a daily basis. And so if you can kind of create multiple platforms, I think it'll reveal the similarities of the American experience. That's what we'd like to do.
Beautiful. Now you have something that you're working on, the American Leaders Conference?
Yeah, we're working on the Italian American Future Leaders Conference. We're going to be in Washington. We're going to be in Florida.
It'll probably be
I'm so used to Washington. No, but we're going to seed these future leaders in Fort Lauderdale, actually. We're going down there January 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th over the Martin Luther King weekend. We'll be in Florida with about 120 young Italian Americans who have an interest in the future of the community. And so it'll be kind of a lock-in and do some work and look at where the community is, where it's come from, where it's going.
Hey, Mike, you hear that? Maybe we get some of our producers to come down there.
We would love it.
Take some pictures
absolutely.
And cover it.
Yeah, it'd be great. We would love it. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah. What is your greetings from the Italian American series about?
So Greetings from Italian America is our YouTube series where my co-hosts and I crisscross the country looking at the communities where the Italian culture has been seeded and thrived, and everything from right here on Arthur Avenue, where we were 2 Christmases ago, to places that people don't expect, like Tontitown, Arkansas, which was a community founded by 45 Italian families 150 years ago and still thriving in the wine industry. And so, we travel all over the country wherever Italian American culture reveals itself.
Beautiful. John, let's take a look.
Ciao, Paisani, and greetings from Italian America. Now, you guys know we are 3 proud East Coast Italians, but every month we're going to take you across this great country of ours to explore the Italian side of America.
So why don't you tell us what's so special about the San Pedro Fish Market?
Chris, you spent 20 years in this little Italy?
20 years. It's what we are trying to recreate here at Farinolio, the idea of the Italian piazza.
You want to see us make fresh mozzarella?
Absolutely.
Come in my kitchen.
There's a magic, and I absolutely love that. It gets me out of bed 4 in the morning to get here to work and to cut salami, and this is what I want to carry on and share with people.
You look like you want to say something.
No, he wants him on. He's done.
That is the greatest Italian show ever created.
That's bad right there.
Where we're gonna go eat now?
We're not eating for a while.
We're eating fat.
No, I can't.
I can't. I'm leaving.
Begin.
I'm done.
No more eating.
I'm done.
John, what about that?
So that's a little insight into our adventures.
Just
around.
a little touch.
Yeah, just a little bit. A little sample of what we do, and everything else is on YouTube, and it's a great program. We love it.
It makes you feel at home, though. It really
does. Yeah. I find no matter where I go in the country, because I'm so attached to my heritage, I find communities where people have had totally different experiences than me here in New York, but you just feel connected right away, and I think that's beautiful.
I felt that. It gave me the chills, too.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Well, I didn't know you were Paisan. Now I know.
Yeah. My mother's from Italy, Naples. Do you have any events coming up?
Other than the big youth conference, we really don't have anything on the calendar at the moment. We're building away at this new studio, And hopefully when that's open, probably in the spring, it's going to be in the building of the Italian American Museum. So we'll start to do events there and hopefully have some book readings and different classes and stuff. So we're looking forward to getting back out again.
And when you speak of Little Italy, especially the one in the city by Mulberry Street, you can't forget about the San Gennaro Feast.
No, I still think the San Gennaro Feast is one of the best events.
And
it's in New York. It's not just an Italian-American community event anymore. It's all New Yorkers, right? It's a part of the culture of the city at this point.
That's right. And you see the Boogie Down Bronx there. We have a Little Italy here in the Bronx.
I lived there for 5 years.
There you go.
Yeah, I lived on Hoffman Street right next to Arthur Avenue for 5 years. And spent a lot of time with my pal David Greco at Mike's Deli. I go there for my Christmas shopping. I'll be there next week.
Yeah, well, I'll probably see you over there.
I'll be running up and down, trying to support all the different businesses. Buy one pastry here, cookies there.
Oh, sucks. Yeah. And we try to slim down just a little bit before the holidays.
Not the easiest thing. I'm failing at that miserably. Everybody wants to have Christmas parties now that we're all back in person. No diets right now.
So when you get back into it with the podcast, what's the first series that you're going to work on?
When we come back into the video stuff, we're going to be, right now we're trying to get a production in Italy. So we're hopeful that
Italy?
In Italy, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we want to take what we've done and look at some of the endangered cultural aspects of Italy. In a global world, we gain a lot. And people see all kinds of Instagram images of these wonderful places. But then that's what they start to expect. That's what starts to get catered to them. So there's a lot of endangered culture in places like Italy and here and all over the world. So we want to start to highlight some of those.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. If we could pull it off, it'd be really great.
I'm gonna have to take a little trip with you.
Well, you'd be we could use your expertise for sure, because none of us are professionals. We're just learning how to do this. So you'd be a great mentor for us.
Great. We'll set it up. You hear that, Mike? Oh, there he is.
Send him over. We'll take him.
That's great. Where do you go from here? How are you going to celebrate your holidays?
I'm going to go to Arthur Avenue and get all my fish and my pastries and stuff. So we'll be up in Westchester. My wife and daughter and I just moved there. My in-laws are here in the Bronx. My parents are coming up from Florida, and we're all going to be at our house. So it's my first time in our new house host. I've been cooking since I was 18. But now I'm going to be cooking in my own kitchen, not my mom's, and we'll see.
Good. We'll all come over.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. We have an open door policy for Christmas Eve. It's a big day for us.
I could eat well.
Yeah, I hope so. If you don't tell me. I don't want it to be deflated.
Yeah. All right. So we got you covered. Where can we go to find out more about you on social media, website?
You can visit us on ItalianAmericanPodcast.com. We're on all of the social media channels. Usually it's at Italian American. On YouTube, we're at Italian American. And visit our website. We've got 260 episodes in our archive and a lot to dig into. So you won't get bored.
There you go. Executive producer and on-air host, Italian American Podcast, John Viola. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Your house is my house and vice versa.
Same here. Absolutely. Yeah, you're more than welcome.
We're coming to eat. We'll take a quick break right here. We've got more open coming up next.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Our next guest is the founder and CEO of Shenix. She joins us today to speak about her company's vision, the work that her partners are doing to grow the organization, the release of their app, and its impact on closing the Latina wage gap. So please welcome to the show, Olga Camargo. Olga, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today to talk about this important topic.
Yeah, well, you're always welcome to come back. And we're so happy that you're here. Let's talk about this important. Tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Sure. So I was raised in Chicago and still here in Chicago, in Little Village. So that's the Mexican community here. That's very popularly known in the entire nation and beyond. And so growing up in Chicago, I also grew up within the family business. And so growing up in the family business, I got to learn a lot, becoming a future business owner, a lot from my mom. That was my first mentor. And I learned about business, and then I also learned about a lot of needs that we have as Latino women, just individually and also as business women.
Yeah. So your entrepreneurship came from Chicago, and from what's the name of the business out there?
So the business that I grew up in,
Yes.
that was called My Bridal Shop.
Ah.
So yeah, I was in the bridal shop, I guess, business. And so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I'm now in finance. So I have about 20 years of being part of the financial services industry. And currently I have been working for over a decade to really help our Black and Brown communities become more retirement ready.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so helping out really like the C-suite, like those organizations that are trying to help their workforce. I start off there, but then I also get the opportunity to work with individuals that are part of the workforce and do the education meetings on the 401k or 403b plans. But when I'm getting questions, they're not necessarily always about retirement. It's about how to make ends meet. It's about how do I continue growing in my career so that I can make more money to bring more money back home. It's also about what is the importance of a credit score, and so forth and so forth. And these are the rooms are primarily, when I go into the Latino community, they're primarily filled with women, the women. And it's not just the women that are actually basically within the employee at the employee level. It's also with the women that are included within the executive levels.
Yeah, and with that wedding business, it helped prepare you for a whole lot, because within that world, you had everything under one roof. You know, you had the videographer, the photographer, the DJ, the booking of the room, everything that comes with the food, everything that comes along with it. So I'm sure it prepares you well for what you're doing now. So a lot of women come up to you and they want to know about finances, credit scores, and things of that nature.
Yes, and also knowing some women, as you know, a lot of women are sometimes underemployed. And so even if they are employed, they're probably not making enough. And this is where that wage gap comes into play. Working more than 9 to 5 jobs, that's a reality for many people, and still not being able to make ends meet at the end of the week. So they have to sometimes, for women, especially Latina women, they also have a side hustle. And so the side hustle sometimes is just that part-time sort of like business.
Yeah.
And sometimes it becomes more than just a side hustle, and it becomes a full-blown business. So this is where now they're thinking, okay, so I'm making money. I still need to be able to make ends meet. But I also need to know how I keep that money. And so just because you know how to earn the money doesn't necessarily mean, right, that you know how to spend the money or save the money. Right. Yes, that's exactly right. It's reality.
Yeah, yeah. So then you started Shenix. Tell us about that. What is it all about?
All right. So when you think about Shenix, yes, you got it. When you talk about Shenix, it's about women, more Latinas entering the workforce. It's about also when you think about those trends, right? And what's happening now, plus those trends in terms of like how they're going to continue to grow in the workforce. It's estimated by 2028, Latinas will constitute about like 9.2% of the entire workforce. So when you think about that, working more just doesn't necessarily mean you're actually moving up in your financial objectives, or that you're actually making happen what you want to happen, right? So we started thinking about, we know that this is a reality now. What does that mean in the future? And what can we do right now to be able to have Latinas be better prepared so that when they go into the workforce, they're coming in understanding, hey, I looked for this position and I did my homework and I know that I'm getting fair pay, right? So we want equal pay. And that's what we want to be able to start Latinas off with. Yes. And then we talked about those other items, like I said, in terms of like understanding all those other, a credit score, why is that important? Also understanding what's going to help, how does that help prime you for a future home, and so forth. We also want to, at the end, right, once they're actually gone through those more critical steps and setting themselves up, also with an emergency fund, for example, then we can start talking about, okay, let's talk about investments beyond obviously retirement savings.
Yes. And that rainy day fund, the whole nine. Now you started an app. Talk about that app.
Well, the app at this point is web-based, and we know that what we're trying to do next year is we're going to actually try to also make it available on the phone, but we couldn't wait to make it available on the phone and not address the issues today. So we had just in less than 2 weeks of just like sending out through myself and my other two co-founders, Patricia Mota, who's there in the red, and Juan Carlos Avila. We decided that we would go ahead and send out just a waitlist app, like sort of like announcement. Hey, it's coming. Who's interested? So in less than 2 weeks, we got 250 Latinas to show up on that list, and it was just very much telling of how much this was needed.
I was going to ask you to give them a shout out, but you hooked them up. You hooked them up. Tell us about the Latina Equal Pay Day.
So Latina Equal Pay Day took place this year on December 8th. And I remember about 6 years ago, I was actually talking a little bit about the Latina Equal Pay Day at an event also in New York. That was 6 years ago. And Latina Equal Pay Day back then was November 1st. So 6 years later, here we are. So now Latinas have to work an additional more than a month, right, to still get the same pay that a non-Latino white man would be making. So close to 2 years that she has to work to be able to get that same pay. So that people say like, well, they just need to do more, and it's their problem, but it's not their problem. It's not just their problem, I should say, or our problem. Yeah. Because I've talked about how people within our own family, or even if you're out there, you have a Latina in your home, and sometimes you're having to step in to, financially, then that's also, it starts impacting you as well. And that's just one example of how this Latina unequal pay affects not just them, but people around them. So think about if they do have their equal pay, not only do you not have to step in, they might even be able to lend you something, right? So
that's right.
You got to think about it in both ways.
Yeah. What are some of the future plans for Shenix?
So our future plan.
And then give me a website and social media.
Yeah. Sure. So next year, again, we are going to be launching our fintech education app.
There it is, the big launch. The big launch. We're ready. There it is. Yeah.
But this was our little pre-launch at this point. But again, people are making, they're thinking about like, wow, I didn't have this before. There are some nice freebies on that web-based app. You can get right away, just answer a survey that allows you to get an immediate response in terms of like, here's what our suggested budget would be, and it's all free. And then you also get access right now to some of like the items, such as like, if I'm at work and I'm supposed to be, selecting my health savings plan, what does that look like? How does that work? Yeah. It's all explained on there through some of our videos already pre-recorded.
It's all on a website. Everything's on a website.
It's all on the one. And the Shenix app, the Shenix app website is Shenix, SHENIX.app.
Well, we thank you and your partners, Juan Carlos Avila. He's the president and CEO and co-founder, and Patricia Mota, right? The co-founder.
Yes, I'm the CEO of Shenix, and these are both my co-founders.
Thank you so much, Olga Camargo, founder and CEO, Shenix. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll take a quick break. Bobby C., he's up next. He has the latest in the world of sports coming up next on Open.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
Go. Excellent. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're in the
begin our look at sports out at Rose Hill, the Florida men's basketball team extended its winning streak into double figures, moving past Central Connecticut State 90-77 inside the Rose Hill gym for its 10th straight victory. Now, check this out. The Rams are in the midst of their first 10-game winning streak in more than 3 decades. The last Fordham team to win 10 straight did so as part of a 14-game streak in January and February of 1991. That team went on to win 25 games and a Patriot League title, perhaps a good omen for this year's Rams. The victory improves the Rams to 11-1 overall this season, including an unblemished 10-0 mark at home. Protect that home court, as they say. Fordham has won 11 of its first 12 games for the first time since the historic 70-71 squad started the year 12-0. Graduate students Khalid Moore and Darius Quisenberry anchored the Rams as Moore tallied a career-high 25 points, and Quisenberry poured in 18. We go inside the locker room for more.
So Coach always talks about it. You play how you practice. So try to practice shooting the ball well, get in the gym, get a lot of shots up. You see it's kind of coming to fruition on the court. We always try to play inside out first, try to pound it into our bigs. We got really strong, hard bigs that play tough in the paint. Khalid's one of them. He can play in the paint and stuff like that. Abdu, Rostic. So we have really good bigs. So we try to get into them first, and if they go to double, play inside out, kick it out, and shoot open shots.
Who would have thunk it? The Rams are the talk of the early college hoop season here locally, especially in the Bronx. Meantime, the Amazons are the talk of the baseball hot stove. The New York Mets have had quite the spending spree in MLB free agency, brushing aside any qualms about the luxury taxes. They aim to build a true World Series contender in Queens after securing a 5-year deal for Japanese sensation Kodai Senga. Some have wondered whether the Mets would be in the market for a slugger to add to this lineup. The latest signing comes on the heels of the Mets replacing Jacob deGrom with another ace, an American League Cy Young winner, Justin Verlander. The Mets are not planning to make a deep dive into the power market this offseason, according to reports. Buck Showalter seems to be on the same page, indicating that power isn't the end-all, be-all for the Mets. Here's more.
We scored enough runs to win, and the better pitchers are, sometimes the less home runs that are given up. So, no, I don't stay up at night about, oh gosh, we got to have X number of power, and let's add X number of strikeouts. And to beat the really good pitchers, you have to be able to do some things other than just hit home runs. So, no, I don't think that's a prerequisite. I know if you're looking at something where we didn't rank highly compared to other clubs in baseball. At the end of the day, we did win 101 games, so offensively, it must have been doing something right.
Mets recently re-signed Brandon Nimmo to an 8-year, $162 million extension, in addition to their deals for Edwin Diaz and Verlander, as well as the previously mentioned Senga. The Mets have not shied away from spending big money in free agency. Despite that, they don't have too much true power at the plate outside of Pete Alonso, yet it doesn't seem as if Showalter is too concerned about that. Mets appear slightly better on paper as of right now, although a little older in their starting rotation, a lot of 35 and above arms out in Flushing. We shall see. The Bronx Bombers haven't made the same splashes this offseason, at least not as of yet, aside from re-signing American League Most Valuable Player Aaron Judge, of course. Judge is staying with the Yankees on a $360 million 9-year contract and will earn $40 million per year, the highest average annual payout for a position player. The contract trails only Mike Trout's $426.5 million deal with the LA Angels and Mookie Betts' $365 million pact with the Los Angeles Dodgers, for the biggest in baseball history. The last time the Yanks made a big free agent deal for a player coming from another team is the focus of our Turn Back the Clock this morning. You might remember this one. It came right before the pandemic. That's when the Yankees got their ace. Let's turn back the clock. From an 11-year-old sporting a sign in the 2001 World Series to finally realizing his dreams of wearing the pinstripes, Garrett Cole's free agent signing with the Yankees is the stuff of legend in the making.
I'm just tremendously excited, and it's the best organization, in my opinion, in the league. There's a process here that Brian spoke to about trying to bring the best people at each individual position to surround everybody with the best opportunity to succeed. I think they've demonstrated that, certainly through Brian's tenure over the last 2 decades. So it instills a lot of confidence as a player when you hear those things, and it doesn't hurt to play for your favorite team.
Obviously, as the manager, when I hear we're going to be in play for arguably the game's best pitcher, that's exciting. I feel like we're a team with championship intangibles. We haven't pushed through yet, but we've clearly been knocking on the door for now a few years. And I just feel like Garrett will be another guy that comes here and fits in.
You know, it's an exciting time for us. We try to with every transaction, whether it's big or small, we always have high hopes and expectations and excitement surrounding the decisions behind them, and looking forward to them leading to real positive things on the field in days and years to come. So this is another chapter of that, obviously a much bigger chapter.
I came 8 outs away from getting a ring. I felt like I could see the light underneath the door, and then it was slammed shut in our face, or it was probably never really opened actually. I'm as hungry as ever to finish that journey, finish that challenge, and in my opinion, there would be no better place to do it than New York.
Another good one, courtesy of the BronxNet boys. I sure bet the New York Football Giants wish they could turn back the clock on their loss to the nearly perfect Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles arrived at MetLife Stadium with an 11-1 record, a divisional rival in appropriate NFC East weather. The Giants failed to seize this opportunity, folks. Final score 48-22. Bad guys with the win. Eagles moving to 12-1 overall and bound for the postseason. The Giants putting themselves in a tight spot when it comes to a potential postseason berth. We go back inside the locker room for more.
One, I know the talent, and I know the men that we have in our locker room, and I know the hard work that they put in and prep that we put in, and we're going through a rough patch right now. We're not playing well. That's it. It's on us. We got to play better. But we've showed what we can do. We played against some really good teams early in the season, and we beat some really good teams. And that's the reason why we're in this position to be able to put ourselves in the tournament, put ourselves in whatever one goal is, and to be in the playoffs and play meaningful games in December. And if we weren't talented and we weren't a good team, we wouldn't be in this situation, and we are. So now we got to double down, continue to believe in each other. And it starts with all of us. It starts with myself, starts with the leaders, and get ready to come out this week and get ready for a big game.
When it comes to big games, we have one coming up right here in the BX. The Minnesota Gophers football team is heading to New York City right before the new year for the Pinstripe Bowl. It will be the Gophers and Syracuse. There will be a familiar face in the suites at Yankee Stadium when Syracuse football squares off against Minnesota in the bowl game. Minnesota Athletic Director Mark Coyle served in the same position at Syracuse immediately prior to his move to the Big Ten school in 2016. We caught up with him. Check this out.
Obviously, it's a tremendous honor to represent the Big Ten Conference and not only the University of Minnesota, but the state of Minnesota. When you think of sports icons, you think of Yankee Stadium, and the first thing that comes to mind is first class. And I know myself, our president Gable, and PJ and our student athletes are incredibly humbled to have the opportunity to play a great team in Syracuse. And we look forward to a great matchup on December 29th. But we're very humbled and excited to, again, represent the Big Ten, the University of Minnesota and the state of Minnesota in such a prestigious building. There's no doubt our fans are excited. We have sold out our bowl allotment. When Mark and I were talking leading up to the bowl game, we have sold out our bowl allotment in the last 2 bowl games we played in. We have a great alumni base along the East Coast, as Mark talked about, and our fans are excited. I give PJ a lot of credit. He is re-energized our fan base over the past several years. He's taken us to multiple bowl games. Our kids are doing the right thing on the field. More importantly, they're doing the right thing off the field. And again, there's a lot of excitement, and we expect a lot of Gophers to be out in New York to celebrate this great opportunity.
That's always a great game at Yankee Stadium. Never short on storylines either. We'll cap this roundup with another terrific headline before taking it home here in the C-List. 14 months ago, USC quarterback Caleb Williams was a freshman backup at Oklahoma, entering the Red River rivalry game against Texas, hoping to provide a spark. Now the 20-year-old is a Heisman Trophy winner, a USC Heisman winner. That announcement, as always, came right here in New York. Williams, much like he did on the field this year, left no doubt that the Heisman was his, securing the award given to the most outstanding player in college football. In a decisive victory, he receives 544 first-place votes. His 2,031 points easily beat out 3 other notables for the award. Congrats to him. To the C-list for the news that we've long waited for here in New York. We've long waited to hear this news, not only here in New York, but around the country. Finally back on American soil after nearly 10 months of imprisonment in Russia, WNBA star Brittney Griner is spending time at a medical facility in Texas before she returns to her regular life. The basketball star was released as part of a prisoner exchange between the U.S. and Russia. Her release through the prisoner exchange took months to negotiate and marked an end to months in confinement after the basketball star was arrested on drug charges at a Russian airport in February and then sentenced to 9 years in prison. The Texas facility Griner is at right now would stand in stark contrast to the Russian one she was held in before her release. During her time there, Griner had to cut her now famous dreadlocks to make life easier during the Russian winter. WNBA commissioner says Griner needs time and space as she begins her recovery. Here's the latest.
Grateful to the administration, the State Department. You know, we've known negotiations were intensifying and a solution was in sight. And I was personally emotional at today's events because you never know until the end. These are geopolitically complex times and the moment. And so I'm overjoyed that BG will be reunited with her parents, her mom and dad. As a mom myself, I can't imagine the anguish they have been going through. And obviously you saw Sherelle at the White House this morning as events unfolded. So and let's not forget BG's fellow WNBA players, too. They advocated every day for her and the whole women's basketball ecosystem. I also want to thank you, the media, for keeping BG at the top of your coverage because that was helpful. And to the WNBA fans as well, who continued to advocate for BG and getting her home. So really grateful today. It's a great day. And, you know, we look forward to BG having her time and space and recovering from this whole ordeal, awful ordeal.
Home for the holidays. Nice way for us to cap the C-list right here. Wishing Brittney a full recovery. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.
You can now watch MNN, Brick TV, QPTV, and SIC TV on BronxNet. Tune in to BX Omni, Channel 67 Optimum, 2133 Files during most Sunday evenings. We'll show you some amazing content from our friends at Manhattan Neighborhood Network, Brick TV in Brooklyn, Queens Public Television, and Staten Island Community Television. Every borough represented in the Boogie Down. Epic partnerships for the ages. And catch our new Next channel, produced in partnership with MNN, 24/7 on BronxNet Channel 952 Optimum and 2138 Fios.
COVID-19 has changed how we spend weekends with the girls. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to brunching instead of late-night munching. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Should I get it? Is it safe? Should I wait?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Hey, one of our last guests, he works at BronxNet. He's a BronxNet Studio Production Intern. And he sits down with us to speak about his experience working behind the camera, behind the scenes, you know, getting his feet wet. You got to get one foot in the door. That's what the internship is all about. I did it. He's doing it too now. He's going to highlight some of his future goals as a media professional. So please welcome to the show, Jason Brown. Jason's in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
How's it going, Dr. Bob?
Good. How does it feel to be on this side? Now, you're always behind the cameras and...
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a little bit different being in front of the camera. You know, behind the scenes, you know, we're speaking to, you know, the people in the control room. We're moving the cameras around. But being in front of the camera, it's a little bit new to me. I mean, I guess I'm a little bit used to it due to social media. I'm usually on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. So that's mainly
That helps out, right?
Yeah, it helps out. You know, the phone camera, all that. So I'm a little bit used to it, but
I
you know,
think it's a good thing, because what happens is that back in the day, they used to tell us to go to a small town radio station or TV station and go in there and get your feet wet. But you have Instagram, you have all these other places that you can go to.
Yeah.
Even in your home, you can set up a small internet broadcasting system and do something from that, and it'll help prepare you for what you want to do.
Yeah.
How has the internship helped you prepare for what's to come in the future, your future endeavors?
Well, it taught me a lot about teamwork. Again, behind the cameras, we got to speak to the people in the control room. You know, they tell us what to do. Sometimes we got to communicate with them. So teamwork and communication is definitely a part of that. And it just taught me to be more responsible. You know, this is a television channel. So, you know, just being more responsible is definitely a part of the job, and it'll take you far with any career.
Now, you know, you're doing your academic experience also.
Yeah.
How do you mix in your academic experience with your practical experience? And I'm going to say it's a little more practical when you get out there in a professional world.
Yeah. I mean, I try to get all my, you know, college work done, I would say, as fast as I can. I still take my time to do it. You know, I think I do essays pretty good. I've actually been doing better in school, and I've been better at time management. I have two classes on campus, and the rest of my classes are online. And you know, I have my internship 3 days a week, and I just balance it out. You know, I also have work, and that actually I am per diem, which, you know, if I have too much schoolwork or the internship is if I'm doing an internship, I'll tell them, you know, I can't come in and stuff like that. But it's just time management, and I try my best to do the best with my time, with everything I'm doing.
There's the boss.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to get a job after
your
internship and after working with BronxNet.
Yes.
What do you tell them? This is not the whole thing. This is just a piece of it.
What do I tell?
Why should they? Why say you need to hire me because I'm the man? You need to tell them.
Well, I'm getting better and better every day. Again, being responsible, time management, everything. I'm still learning. You know, I'm pretty young, so I'm still learning. It's just. I would say it's better to have a young man. You know, learn the roles that, you know, whatever the boss wants me to do, you know, I'll get into it and I'll be very good at it. So
there he is. Say, when I come to you, I'm going to be ready.
Yeah.
Talk to the boss.
What's up? What's going on? I'm ready. Whatever you want me to do. Yeah.
And he's motioning back.
Yeah.
I guess he's ready for you too.
Yeah.
All right. I know you're getting. But the most important thing about doing an internship is that you do have your foot in the door. One foot is in the door. You get a chance to look around, and it's a good opportunity to like work for CBS, NBC, places of that, you know, that nature, where you can see how they're doing it on the practical side.
Yeah.
And because things may change just a little bit, but I think you're on the right track, and we love the work that you do here, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. You know, I'm very happy to be here, and it was an amazing opportunity.
So where do we go from here?
I mean,
what do you need? You think you need to brush up on a few things, or what do you need?
I do think I need to brush up on a few things. You know, I'm not perfect. I could definitely learn more.
Wait, you're not perfect?
No, I'm not perfect.
That means you're normal. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, but I could definitely brush up on a few things. There are some things, but yeah, there's definitely some stuff in the works. Again, I've been doing better with time management, and you know, I've been.
Have you been taking notes?
No, I haven't been taking notes, but I've been taking mental notes
you've
been remembering all the stuff.
Everything.
Yeah, been retaining everything.
What are some of the things you've been working on?
Some of the things I've been working on personally?
Yeah, with the camera work.
Music is one thing. Me and a group of people that actually come here to Lehman, we've started a group. We're not really, we haven't really determined a name yet, but we have talked about
Wait, a singing group?
No, not a singing group, a production group. Like a music production.
Production team,
we make beats
yeah.
downstairs inside the multimedia center. So
That's great.
yeah, so we're talking about
But
coming
in this
together.
studio, you've learned you did the floor manager work. You worked the cameras.
Yeah.
You've been up in the I'm going to say
Control
the Wizard
room.
of Oz room, the control room.
Yeah.
What have you learned? You see the guys working up there
And
girls.
Up there, I learned about graphics, A-roll, B-roll, stuff like that. I know there's the little audio panel that I could learn more stuff on. But up there, I'm pretty good. But I think I'm better down here than up there. So if anything, if I come back for an internship, I could definitely learn more stuff inside the control room. So that would be.
What exactly do you want to do when you?
Well,
do you think you want to do the cameraman?
Actually, when I come back, I would actually love to do a reporting role or internship or anything. Because, just like right now, I just want to put my face out there more and just, be more in tune with the camera, I would say. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're doing the work. You're doing what it takes.
Yeah, I'm trying.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go. And do you have a website, social media?
I have a social media.
We ask everybody so that we can find more because you only get like a little segment here.
Yeah. I got a social media, J_splash11. I have a TikTok, is the same thing, J_splash11. And that's really it. I post videos and I try to make everybody laugh, or I try to do some dances, or try to promote my music and stuff on there. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
So what's the floor manager getting ready to do now? If you were out there, you would tell me how much time I have left.
Yeah, definitely. I'll probably just count down from 5 to 1 or something like that.
Okay. So are we counting it down now? We're wrapping it?
Yeah, we're counting it down.
Yeah. All right, hard rap. Hit me with this.
All right. Well, unfortunately, that is all we have. That is all the time we have for today. I want to thank our guests for joining and the viewers for tuning in. Keep following BronxNet TV for continued coverage.
There you go. Thank you for letting us tune in, and thank you for letting us watch you while you're watching us. But always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. And we'll catch you another day, another way. You are
Jason Brown.
And I'm Bob Lee. And we'll catch you another day, another way. We love you all. Peace.